moves like that on this restarts.
Definitely is. And this track, I think, very different from what we usually see over on many of the other 1.5 mile ovals. And that's why we talk about how this track is so different, because you get so many different challenges at this kind of track compared to, let's say, a Chicagoland, a Las Vegas, maybe a Kentucky. So many other 1.5 mile tracks you can put in there, and they don't necessarily compare because this track is just two straights and each turn in the corner, progressive, but very wide on either end, so there's a lot of space to make moves if you want to.
Yeah, this track is very wide. It's probably one of the wider tracks because, and you can't really see it to the eye. You have to stand there. You really have to stand on the racetrack to get a true sense of just how wide the racing surface is here. You can easily put a couple cars 4 wide, 5 wide, and we've tend to see that also on these restarts. If when people stay out on old tires, a lot of people on the newer tires are trying to get by, to hope that they don't get boxed behind these old tires to not lose all that time. And we end up seeing 4 wide through 1 and 2. But the interesting part is it's 4 wide, but they don't look like they're getting squeezed. They just are able to make it work. And I don't know if I pointed this out to you, Kenneth, but when you were sitting right next to me earlier this year, there was 5 wide in one of the restarts off of turn number 2. I believe Santino Ferrucci was in the middle of that.
Indeed there was. That shows you just how much you can probably take advantage of the space given here at this track, and especially off the restarts, you can dip down all the way to the inside and even make things work on the inside line, or you can go reach out all the way to the outside safer barrier and still be able to get a run down the hill off turn 2, be able to make a nice move on your opponents behind you, or at least in front of you, all around you rather, on the racetrack like this. We'll go on a restart on lap number 6 of 120. It'll be Brian M. Smith and Charlie Harcum on your front row. As a matter of fact, Colin Forrester, who was supposed to start this race all the way in the outside of row 1, is back to P14. So there was a mess up on the grid earlier tonight. That's exactly why it showed the 99 on the exit of row number 1. Meanwhile, it was Charlie Harcum, Jacob Denson, who were filing out the first row to bring us to that initial green flag. You see the 46 and the 45 outlining the outside of row number 1 and row number 2. Lance Hill will be the driver on the inside of row 2. Brian M. Smith, a nice jump. Green flag back out in the air. Brian M. Smith to a solid run out of the blocks and up to turn number 1. It's side by side behind him between the 34 and the 46.
And straight to the inside, next to that white line goes Brian M. Smith. We see Harcum is trying to search a little bit higher up on the racetrack. Everybody searching for a different line through 1 and 2. And we see that through the top 5, at least a lot of single file action. Harcum with a little bit of a run on the 34 of Hill, but doesn't really make a move going into 3 and 4. Right now, Brian M. Smith with a sizable lead after this first lap. A little bit loose there in turn 4, but we're going to be seeing that all night. As look at this 3 wide.
The battle right here. This is for the exit of P number 5. That's Jacob Denson trying to defend against the Hot Wheels machine, Michael Woolley. New paint scheme that we see out of this driver here in this race. And you see the 29 machine, that's Jake Ruel, making his first start in a long time here in 4-wide racing competition. Looking to the inside. They're going to maintain side by side for the moment, but mostly everybody aiming to get their rhythm early. There's Ruel trying to make a move to the inside. Already though, Francisco, drivers willing to use the outside wall with grip given to them.
It gives you a lot of grip, Kenneth. It really does, but there is a price to pay for that grip, and that's in the tire wear. It does tend to wear your tires a lot quicker, and if you stay committed to that seam right there that we see the 69 and the 29 running, if you stay down there, it's a little bit slower at this point in the run. They're going to get past, but it is heavily rewarded to them on the backside of the run. If we get a long enough run, they are definitely going to be some of the faster cars on the racetrack, but it's just that staying committed to that line that's so difficult.
You see right now, there's Charlie Harcum getting way loose at the exit of turn 4. He's going to be sucked 3 wide through the middle. That's the 48 AJ Green making the move on the inside. That's Denson on the outside.